Hello there YouTube, my name is Storonki and welcome to my personal World of Tanks guide, tutorial, walkthrough, whatever the heck you want to call it. This is for the starters who just installed their World of Tanks client for the first time. I'm going to explain the graphical interface over here and help you, with the menus before even considering going into battle. You can see there's a lot of tanks, well, at least when you're looking at my video, a lot of tanks at the bottom. These are all my tanks. However, if you've just made an account, then your garage will more likely look like this, with probably this little tank or one of these tanks probably selected. These are all small tier 1 tanks. Now tier 1 is the starting tier on where you will begin, and the game reaches all the way to tier 10. So tier 1 is the lowest first level vehicle tank, and tier 10 is the highest tank you can get at this very moment of making the video. It has been for a long time as well. There were some lines that only went to tier 9 or 8, but the highest tier at the moment is tier 10. So yeah, you have, let's see, over to the left you have all kinds of filter options. These won't be really useful for a new player at the start, but for someone like me who has a ton of tanks, and I really mean a ton of tanks, if I just scroll over this, this is a large amount of tanks, indeed. Yes, those were all my tanks. So you have a lot of filter options. Where to even begin? Well, filtering your tanks, is pretty easy. You have all kinds of choices here. These will be your tank types. If you hover over them, you will see the tank types that you have in this game. Which are your light tanks, your medium tanks, heavy tanks, tank destroyers, and artillery or SPG or self-propelled gun are all names used for that. You can sort by nation. You have at the moment Germany, the USSR, the USA, France, the UK. Why does there always have to be a loud vehicle going through my street when doing these videos? China, Japan, Czechoslovakia, and Sweden. And you can sort by tier. You have 1 to 10. You also have the options to sort by tanks that still need to get their daily double, which is basically for the first victory you have in a tank each day, you will get twice amount the XP experience as a bonus. And yeah, that can help you, get a little bit of extra progress into the game. You can also right click any tank you prefer and make it a primary tank. Set as primary, and then you can basically sort on your primary tanks. These are currently the primary tanks I have selected. And if I deselect it, all the other tanks will appear again. So yeah. Below that is elite vehicles. Now, each vehicle basically has a number of things you can upgrade, which are the tracks, which will increase certain parameters. I will all go into detail about this later on, but these are all your upgrades. You can upgrade the gun, turret, the engine, and all kinds of stuff. And if everything is upgraded, your vehicle will get an elite status, so you can sort your tanks by that. You can also sort your tanks by premium vehicles, and premium vehicles are basically tanks that are either bought with real life money or certain reward tanks that you will receive by completing special missions, or maybe during a certain event you might get a special premium tank as well. So yes, these are your sorting functions. In the middle, obviously, you have the tank that you currently have selected. We'll just switch to a tier 1 tank again. And yeah, over here you can see the modules again. You can click the gun and you see on tier 1 you have one gun upgrade, and the rest, it used to be different, but you had other things you could upgrade for your tier 1 vehicle. But at the moment, each tier 1 vehicle just has one gun you can upgrade. Over to the left you can see your crew. Just switch to another vehicle over the Swedish tier 1 vehicle. As I believe your crew starts with 100% skill, which means they will function at optimal level. I will go into detail about crew in another video, but your crew basically gains more skill. The better your crew is, the better your tank will perform. So yeah. Over here you have equipment slots, which are things you can buy to you know, not upgrade, but you can improve certain statistics about your tank with these things. However, do keep in mind these things are pretty expensive and are mostly used for, you know, the higher end players that, you know, have gotten a very high level and have the extra in-game credits to spare and spend on tanks to, you know, just get that little edge of improving the statistics and battle capabilities of a tank. Over here you have your shell types. You know, I will have another specific video about shells, but you know, you have different shell types and they have different characteristics to them. More penetration to be able to penetrate more armor, and the damage also varies a bit. And next to the shells you have your consumables, which are, you know, special usable items you can bring into the match to help you. These will not restore any health points, but they can repair certain things. For example, the tracks of your tank can get destroyed. They will get repaired automatically by time. However, if you want to instantly repair them, you can use a repair kit, which will then repair your tracks, and, you know, after 90 seconds the cooldown will have been recharged and you will be able to use it again. This is actually a new function in World of Tanks, a very good one. You have also things like fire extinguishers for when your tank can catch on fire, and some other goodies that can help you in the battlefield. These come at a cost and are not that expensive, but, you know, at the start, when you don't have a lot of credits just yet, they you know, might not be such a good idea. But yeah, they aren't as luxurious as equipment. So yeah, if you click on either the shells or the consumables, you will basically get to the same spot as you would when you click on the service icon. You also have options to automatically repair your vehicle after each battle. Now I believe tier 1 vehicles are free to repair, but the other tanks will come at a credit cost. But mostly you only start to get a loss in credits at the higher tiers. So at the starting tiers you will always just get a profit, even if your tank gets completely destroyed. You can automatically resupply ammunition and consumables and stuff like that. So yeah, where to go next? You have all kinds of buttons over here. So yeah, here is the garage where we are at the moment, where you can pretty much look at all your vehicles. Over to the right, behind my camera as well, there are all kinds of statistics. My camera is pretty much blocking a part of the statistics screen, which I will move to the other side in a little bit. However, before moving my camera, I will also go to the bottom left. Over here you have your contacts list, which you know, are friends you can add. Let me just scroll. I have actually too many friends. I don't even speak with a lot of them. I should clean it up. There's also, if you are in a clan, this game has clans. You can also have a list of your clanmates. And there is also a blacklist, which, ooh, let me tell you. Oh boy. Not that I want to scare you, but boy, do I have a lot of people on my blacklist. But that's mostly because there is a function in the game where you can ping on the minimap, and some people might get frustrated in a match and start to, ping spam. You will see the minimap blinking a lot when they want to show you a specific sector. So I kind of have the urge to quickly blacklist people, or if they are annoying in chat, kind of those things. You also have recruits. You have basically an option to recruit people into the game, and you will be like their recruit master kind of thing, and that will give you some benefits in the game as well. So if you'd happen to find a friend who might also want to play this game, consider using one another as a recruit, because if you will play together, then you will gain a lot of benefits when it comes to progressing in this game at the start. Let's see, next over here you have chat channels, which you can use to search and join specific channels. You can also create a chat channel. I never use these because I'm always on voice, but some people might want to use them. But you can basically, tank, destroyers, I don't know, maybe that will find something, no? Okay, Europe, I have no idea what I should find. Hello. Okay, well, whatever. If you'd happen to know a name of a specific chat channel, then you might be able to find it. Over here you have the general chat. I really never open this because there's also always, people flaming. Ignore that, never open that. And because I am in a clan, my own clan, I have my clan chat, which is barely ever used. Over to the top left you have your account name, and you can even go to your clan profile if you happen to be in one. You can use personal reserves, which are rewards that you can get as part of a mission, which will give you a boost in experience, that kind of thing, for a limited time, of course. So basically a booster that will give you twice the amount of XP in 2 hours. Over to the top left you have the menu, a settings menu. You can disconnect, switch servers, exit the game, go back to the game, and you have the bulletin, which is basically a pop-up screen with deals that pop up if you log in as well. Like over here you have some tanks that are sold in the shop, and you also have information about the newest update, and I believe this is from the previous update, yes. Oh, and you can click over here to go back. So yeah, these are like your notifications from the game. You can also go to the premium shop over here. If you have a premium account, you can see over here how long you have it. You can extend it and buy new if you have spent real life money on the game. So yeah, you can see with the amount of gold I have, I can get myself another month of premium time. However, I have 205 days left, so that's fine for me. A premium account benefits you with extra credits and experience of 50%, and it gives you a little bit of a nice looking garage when the garage is normal. Currently you see a special celebration garage because it's like an anniversary date event of the game. Yeah, now I'm going to switch my camera. Ta-da! Now I'm at the bottom left. Alright, so now I'm not blocking any of the other screen things. You have an option to create a platoon, which is used to, if you want to play with friends, you automatically get your friends list, and you can even search for people outside of your friends list and invite them to a platoon. Now, like I told you before in the other video, World of Tanks has a 15 versus 15 player matchup. So the maximum amount of people you can take with you in platoon are 2 friends. So a platoon can consist of a maximum of 3 people. And you should always take note that the tier tanks you choose should always be the same, because you cannot go with a tier 1 tank in platoon with a tier 7 tank or anything like that. It used to be possible, and there were a lot of people doing that to frustrate other people, because obviously taking a tier 1 tank into a tier 10 match was very frustrating. So Wargaming finally stopped that ability from being possible. So yeah, be sure to have the same tier tanks. You also get a bonus on experience if you play with people in platoon of tier 4 and higher. So there's that. There's also a benefit to playing with your friends. Now would you look at that. So yeah, that's the platoon option. Now here is the big battle button. If you click on that, you will get put into a battle, simple as that. This is the battle mode that you are selecting. Standard, it's on random battle, which is your basic 15 versus 15 battle. The standard mode of the game that most people play. So yeah, if you click on it, you can go to team battles, which is, well, over here you can see it, battle between peer teams, battle type attack defense, player limit 7 people, tiers allowed 6 to 8, the total tier of vehicles on the team must be 54. Now these are like, you know, the tiers counted up towards together. You have 10 companies, these are all like clan stuff. Stronghold, also clans. Special battle, that's clan wars specifically, because these are like clan related battles, but this is specific clan wars really. Team training, now you can open a team training if you want, create a room, join a room, to, you know, invite people and basically do anything. You do not gain any experience or credits in this game mode, but you can screw around with friends, and repairs of the tank are free. However, shells and consumables, you do pay for them, so watch out with shooting. Yeah, basically that, but most people just use it to screw around. You also have battle training, which is like the tutorial, I think, before if you start, it will pop up for you. To do the battle training, it will give you a T-34-85 and give you a little mission to do so, and you will get a small reward for it. However, doing it the second time does not reward you with anything. And you have proving grounds, which are basically battles against bots. For 10 battles you can get experience for this game mode and credits, but after 10 battles you will not be able to do so anymore. However, if you just feel like raffle stomping some bots, you can always just go in here and kill some people for fun, and you know, by throwing away credits as well. Those are all the game modes. Every now and then when there's like an event, there might be a temporarily new added game mode, and yeah, there's that, but random battles is the standard mode. Over to the right you have, like I've already told you, the gold, credits, and well, this is actually not experience, this is the experience on your current tank. We'll go into about experience in a little moment. So yeah, credits is your basic main currency in game, which you will get in battles. You will always get credits, always, literally every battle, unless maybe you kill yourself at the start of a battle by driving your tank into the water and drowning yourself. That's maybe the only possibility you will not gain any credits. So you have gold, which is the premium currency you can buy with real life money. And yeah, I'm I guess this is the best part to start about experience. So if you go into a battle, you will gain experience on the specific tank you have played in. So I cannot, choose this tank, get a battle with experience, and then upgrade this tank. That's not how it works. So yeah, you just need to get experience in that specific tank. So if I fought a couple of battles in this tank, performed good, gotten some experience, it will pop up over here next to the star, and I can click the research option. And if I go to the research option, I will see other upgrades I can research with my experience. So for example, over here you can see I have it fully equipped, I have the best gun, and there are no other upgrades, only other tanks. And if I go here, for example, you can see I still have this tank to upgrade. I even need to buy it. And yeah, these are how the upgrades will look like. And if you have researched it using experience on that tank, then you will need to spend credits to also buy that module to basically put the engine on it. So if I'd want this new engine, I'd need to spend 5,200 experience. After researching it, it will cost me 28,000 credits. So that's that. That's the way how you upgrade things in World of Tanks, which is, fair. However, if you still look at the bottom here, you see there's also a kind of experience currency. This is called your free experience. Now, free experience is, let's say, I go into a battle and I earn 100 experience. 5% of your total experience earned will also be added to your free experience pool. So it will not be taken from you. You will still, have 100 experience on your tank, but you get an extra 5 free XP in your free XP bank, whatever. So if I'd happen to get 1,000 XP, I'd get 50 free XP extra over here. Now, free XP is XP you can actually spend on every tank you want. So I have 3,000 free XP, and I have 0 on this tank. Now, if this tank happened to cost 3,000 free XP, I could still research it by just using my free XP over here, 3,000. So I'd be able to do that if I wanted to. However, you will, skip a lot of content in the game. I would personally only use free XP to upgrade your tanks because, tanks that do not have the best gun, perform a little bit less, so you might get frustrated by that. And, if you really do not like a specific tank but want the next tank, you can also try to get free XP to then get the next tank. So it's, a little bit of a special currency. You can also convert free XP by getting a tank that's elite, so fully upgraded. You can then gain more experience on that tank and then use gold to convert any experience to free experience. However, this does not come cheap. It will cost you a decent amount of gold. But for example, over here you can see I have a Thunderbolt tank and a T110E4, which have a little bit of XP on them. I can also select other tanks, however I do not want that for some specific reasons. And I could convert my 452, I can use my 452 gold to convert 11,300 XP to free XP, and that will make it available for me. I can also exchange gold to credits if I wish to. 1 gold equals 4,000 credits. So, let's say 2,500 gold, that is about 10 euros, will give you exactly, I believe, 1 million credits. Yes, 1 million credits for 10 euros. I personally do not think that's worth it. I rarely use this function, but yeah, Let's see. Well, you have your crew members over here. I'm not going to get into much detail about them yet, but you have your commander, your driver, radio op, and loader. However, that only counts for this specific tank. Each tank has a different crew layout. So this tank has a commander, a gunner, a driver, a radio op, and a loader. Now this is a good example because this is the kind of crew member that you have in the whole game. So these are the only possibilities: a commander, a gunner, driver, radio op, and a loader. There are some tanks that might have 2 loaders or 2 radio operators, or I don't think I've ever seen 2 drivers or 2 gunners. So the only thing I've seen is multiple multiple radio operators and multiple loaders. But you can right click them and get to their personal file, check things out. They have stuff like skills that I will explain in another video. You have also missions over to the left, which will let you start over here. I believe you need to play at least tier 4 to compete in these missions, but these are missions that will give you a reward tank. If you finish those, you can go to the next one. If you finish those, you can go to the next one and get more reward tanks and more missions. They will become harder and harder, and eventually you will need to play at least tier 6. However, the last missions are easiest to do with, tier 9 and 10 tanks. So there's that. Yeah, you can check out the rewards over here as well. Check out the details of these vehicles. You have the Stuk 4, the T-28 heavy tank concept, the T-55A, and the Object 260. You also get some special crew members for doing these missions that will improve your combat capabilities as well. You have some other missions as well that can be temporarily and can be with events. You have certain events every now and then that will give you certain missions with rewards, kind of, random stuff. You can also access it by clicking the icons up here. However, you need to have a suitable tank for it to do so. What is next? What have I not covered yet? Well, the bottom right has a comparison list option. Now you can right click a tank and check out all kinds of things. You can also check out the vehicle details, which will give you a little nice sheet of statistics of the tank. Then you can check out the configuration and your crew. There's also a little bit of history about this tank over here that you can read, and you can add it to the comparison. You can also go to your statistics, which I will tell about in a moment. Add it to your comparison. Let's just do so. You can go to your research option, just like at the top right over here, so you can check out any of the researchable upgrades of a tank. You can sell your tank as well, and you can set it as primary. So yeah, if you add tanks to the comparison list, a box will pop up over here. I have some other tanks added from a previous playing session, and you can go to the comparison list, and over here you can check out all kinds of stats and compare them to one another. Obviously these are tier 3 light tanks, premium light tanks, 2 of the same because I've copied it but given it a little bit of a different configuration. But if I just clear it and add more tanks, I can, get myself an M4 Sherman, for example. There, the M4 has been added, and I can compare it to a Panzer IV, for example, if I wish to do so. Let's see, the Panzer IV-H, yes. So then I have these statistics which I can compare with one another, and I can even configure them by choosing a kind of crew, how skilled they are. I can even add equipment and whatever, anything that can change the characteristics of a tank. And yeah, that will be applied. You can apply it for the other tank as well, and then compare all the statistics to whatever your heart desires. We'll go over statistics really quick in a moment. But yeah, this is just a compare feature, just if you want to see the detailed comparison stats of different tanks, or if you just want to check out a specific loadout. You know, maybe you just are unsure which equipment pieces you want to mount, you know. Maybe you want a medium tank gun rammer that will increase your reload time. You can put that on it, and you can see that by doing so, my reload time has been increased from 4.5 seconds to 4.05 seconds, which is a big difference. You can also change the guns and whatnot, because every gun can have a different statistic when it comes to reload time, and then you can change that up as well. So yeah, when it comes to making your preferred loadout, this is a very useful tool, but it is, you know, a bit more advanced. It's more of an advanced feature. So yeah. Next up is the armory. You have all kinds of stuff over here. The armory is, you know, the armory and store, I believe. So you can go to the store. You can also just check out all kinds of vehicles. You can sort them by nation. So if I only want German tanks, I can do so. You can also recover certain premium tanks. You can trade in certain premium tanks. That's a new function which is not interesting for you because you are a new player. So yeah, can sort the tank types. I can click if I want researched or unresearched vehicles, modules, shells, equipment, consumables, basically a whole store. And I can go to the depot, which is a very useful thing, which basically tells you all the stuff you have. So all my light tanks, medium tanks, SPGs, whatever I want to look up. Same goes for modules. If I go to oh, these are actually extra modules you have in your depot, not the modules you have mounted on your tanks. And well, over here I see an engine. I mean, guns are, you know, one gun can be stored to be used for another time, because maybe you like multiple guns on a certain tank. But this engine, for example, I'm never going to use it, so I'm just going to click it and sell it. And yeah, same goes with certain shells. Maybe you want to sell certain shells because you're not going to use it anymore. So yeah, it's basically a whole store and depot section. So to the right you have your service record, which are your statistics in the game. And for a lot of experienced players, this is a very, very important section of the game. And for me, you know, my statistics mean a lot to me. But there are other people who are just crazy about their stats even more. Let's see, you have your amount of battles you've played. Now a battle lasts about, average about 5 to 7 minutes. The max time of a battle is 15 minutes. If both teams still have people alive and the timer ends, it will end in a draw. You can see the amount of battles I have, 27,170. That's a lot. Do that times the amount of average time in a battle, about 7 minutes times that. You can see how much of my life I have wasted on this game. You can see the amount of victories I have, the amount of defeats, the amount of draws. You can see draws are pretty rare, but they do happen. Here you can see your win rate, which is very debatable by people. Whether or not skill involves about win rate, because you're in a 15 versus 15 situation, and you know, people like to debate if you do have an option to change your win rate, and you know, in the long run, I think yes, you can influence your win rate. Your hit ratio, basically how many of your shots you hit. Average damage per battle, I think this is one of the most useless stats ever, because damage purely is based on the tier you do. Higher tier tanks do more damage, so if you play only high tiers, you will get a higher average damage. If you play only low tiers, you will have a low average damage. So I think this is a pretty useless stat. Your personal rating, which is Wargaming's thing of telling how skillful you are, but I never really pay attention to this. Your average experience by battle, your maximum experience by battle, basically your experience record. Maximum amount of tanks you have destroyed in a single battle. I think I've done this 3 times, 10 kills. You have your ace tanker thingies, which are all kinds of rewards. Basically, by getting a very good match, you can get an ace tanker medal. You can see all kinds of medals and achievements, and well, yeah, over here you can see even more awards. You can scroll up and down. Basically, if you like getting awarded and stuff like that, you have a ton of things to look forward to, because there are a lot of rewards. But I'm just gonna skip them. Over here you have more detailed statistics, the things I've already named. More stuff about experience. There's so much stuff about defense points, capture points. Yeah, there are bases you can capture, your destruction ratio, you know, all kinds of statistics that you might be interested in. You also have these graphs which will show you the battles you play, and for me the most battles have been in tier 8. The most used nation is Germany for me, and just barely America on second place. And apparently my most played tank is the heavy tank class. However, I do prefer medium tanks over heavies, so yeah, that's kind of weird. And over here you have the vehicles section, which will show you the statistics of every single vehicle you have ever played. This is a lot. You can sort it by the amount of battles, you can sort it by the nation, the tank type, victory ratio, the average experience you get. I mostly just sort it by tier. And you know, you can click a specific tank, see all your statistics in it, your averages and whatnot. You can even sort it by game mode, so if you'd happen to play Clan Wars, I've played some Clan Wars, not that much, then you can see some stats of it, and the same goes for other things like skirmishes and yeah, those kind of things, but mostly I just stick to random battles. Those are the more interesting. You also have your awards, the specific awards you've gotten in that tank, and your marks of excellence, which will appear starting at tier 5, which is basically like a skill thing. You know, basically it counts the last 100 battles you had in that tank, and it will reward you with certain stripes or stars on your barrel, which indicates a skill level. So yeah, you have 1, 2, or 3 marks of excellence. If you manage to get 3 marks of excellence, then consider yourself a very skilled player in that tank. So that's the whole statistics section. Over here you have the tech tree, and I will pretty much cover these tech trees in detail in other videos. But currently you have the German tech tree, which is, I think, the most extensive tech tree in the whole game, which is you know, pretty fair, because Germany was big in developing tanks and armored vehicles. So you can see they go over here from tier 1 all the way stretching down to tier 10, and you can see even tier 4 has like multiple rows of tanks. So here you have the USSR, which is also a pretty big tech tree. The USA as well, pretty big. Then you have France, which you know, has its tanks. The UK, you have a big tech tree. China, which has a bit of a smaller tech tree. You can also see the premium tanks over here. These are not the only available premium tanks. There are also a lot available in the store on the website that are not available through in-game purchase. You have Japan and Czechoslovakia, which has a very small tech tree, only 1 branch, and you have Sweden with 2 branches, which is the newest nation in the game at the moment. So those are your tech trees. You can click any tank you want and check out any costs. You can even preview any tank. So if I click this, I can basically preview this tier 10 Swedish tank destroyer. And I can also, for example, check out, let's see, a good tank to show this on, maybe this one. Preview it, and I can even check out different modules. Now I cannot mount this gun or this turret yet because they are incompatible with other things. So first I need to get the tracks, because that will give me a higher load limit. Then I can equip a turret and then a better gun, which you can see the difference, and it will have better statistics, which I will go over later. And over here I can see I cannot switch back to the other turret because it has an incompatible gun. So when I do click it, it switched me back to the other gun. So I cannot get this better turret, this better gun, unless I get the better turret first. So I need to upgrade the turret first, then the gun. However, this is not the case with every tank, but you can try it out over here. So yeah, the tech trees. You have your barracks, which is basically a place where you can store extra crew members, and you have a lot of sorting functions. Basically, this is all of the crews I have in the entirety of my game, which is a lot. However, these count the crew members I have in my tanks, so I can just sort by in barracks, and those are a lot less. I have just spare crew laying around for other tanks that I plan to use them on. Not a lot of interesting stuff furthermore in the barracks. You can buy more slots, and yeah, basically that. There's also a stronghold function, however this is only if you are in a clan, and is basically not really clan wars, but like a mini clan wars kind of thing, which lets you build buildings and stuff, but this is all clan related, so it's not interesting for you. The last thing are your garage slots over here. I have 19 extra slots. However, at the start when playing you will have a limited amount of slots, which limit the amount of tanks you can have at the same time. Now, I have no idea how many slots there are at the beginning. I do know that selling a tank will clear up a slot, so if you do not feel like going down the Swedish tech tree but only the German tech tree and not any other, then you can pretty much sell all the tier 1 tanks and save your crew in the barracks and pretty much have extra slots for extra tanks that you want. You can buy extra slots with gold, which is pretty much the only possibility to buy them with. No credits, that's a sad thing, but there are a lot of missions which will give you like some gold and even some extra slots as well. Some events that will give you that as well. So yeah, that's a lot of interface to get. Last thing I just want to quickly cover is the statistics over here. You have your firepower, average damage per shot, average penetration. Well, your damage obviously is the amount of damage you deal. And over here you can see your minimum and maximum damage. So you have your average damage, which is 12. Then you have your minimum and maximum, which is 9 and 15. This is based on a percentage of 25% lower and higher. Same goes with penetration. This is basically the value of armor thickness the shell can penetrate. Rate of fire. This is how many shots you can fire in a minute with this tank. Turret traverse speed, which is how fast your turret can turn. Gun depression elevation angles is basically how high and low you can aim your gun. This is the loading times. However, since I am selecting a tank with an automatic cannon, it shows me something different, because normally it would have reload time 3.1 seconds, and with a machine gun it will change to load, which shows you the time when firing a shell and loading in the next shell of the same magazine, and the number of shells in one magazine, and the reload time between each magazine. So you have a different gun that only fires once and then reloads, and you have like more of a machine gun thing that shoots multiple bullets, and then after that it reloads. You have your aiming time, which is how long it takes for your gun to fully aim, to be fully accurate. This is your main accuracy. This is the damage you can deal in 1 minute, which depends on your rate of fire and average damage per shot. You have your survivability, which is your hit points, the amount of damage you can take. Your armor, which is very important for a tank. So yeah, you can deflect bullets and shells if you have good armor and use it correctly. Same goes for your turret armor. You have the hull and the turret, which have different armor values, but even then, every part, every plate, every single plate on a tank can have different values of armor. Then you have your mobility, which is your load limit and your weight. So you can see my load limit is 10 tons, and my tank weighs 9.12 tons. Engine power, not a lot on the low tiers. Specific power, this is basically your HP per ton, which means the higher the number is, the easier it is for your engine to carry the weight of your tank. So basically how fast it is. Basically the faster tanks get around that 20-ish power to weight ratio, I think. Or like 15, 16 to 20 or even higher. But the lower ones are not that good. This is your top speed, front and to the front and reverse, 25 and 14. Your traverse speed, how quickly your tank can turn. Now you have your concealment values. These are, we'll make a whole separate video about this, but basically the amount of camo value your tank has. Some tanks can hide better than others, which will make you harder to be seen. And so yeah, which will say when you are stationary and after firing, you can imagine that if you fire a gun, that you will be less concealed. And the same goes when being on the move and firing on the move. You will have less camo, because if you're a moving tank, you will obviously be more easily seen than if you are standing still. And then you have spotting, which gives you a basic view range parameter. Basically the amount of meters you can look forward and spot enemy vehicles. And then there's signal range, which is basically a parameter that determines the allies you can see that are out of your view range. So if you have allies out of your view range but in your signal range, then you can still see your allies. Those are the main basic statistics of your tanks. However, you have other things like if I just right click on my gun, you can see a lot of other statistics, and I will go over this in another video. So yeah, this is the whole user interface of World of Tanks in the garage, and it's a lot to take in, a whole lot. I wouldn't really try to concentrate on it all too much at the same time, just what you're comfortable with, because I'm going to explain everything in detail in separate videos. So this was basically like showing you quickly. Yeah, you have the people you can see in the servers playing as well, which is a bit less important, but can come in use. You can also see the ping when hovering over here. I always choose EU2 because that's in Amsterdam and I live in the Netherlands, so that's good ping for me. Yeah, this is about it. This is the whole user interface in World of Tanks at the moment, I believe. Yeah. So I hope that kind of explained it to you, what you can do in this garage. A lot of upgrading, a lot of selecting, tweaking, looking for information to your heart's desire. We'll explain about crew in more detail as well. But yeah, you can change your crew members and stuff like that. Your crew is someone that drives your tank, so your crew members will need to know the insides and outsides of your tank to perform well, huh? So yeah, my name is Storonki. I hope you found this useful. It was a bit lengthy, but there will be a lot more coming. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.